detained activist was accosted by the police for doing the unthinkable, recording. Here it is.
Officer hopped up on energy drinks out here yelling at me, saying he gonna arrest me. Don't open the door. Don't listen to them.
Now you disturb the peace. I'm about to come outside.
I'm not disturbing the peace. The noise ordinance is from 6 a.m. in the morning. It's past 6 a.m., so the noise ordinance does not count.
You call the city on the day.
It's from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m.
I'm gonna show you. You call the city, I'm gonna show you.
Okay, and I got you on camera too. I'll make sure I let everybody know.
You on camera, all right?
And that's fine. I'm so glad you didn't turn your body camera off, because y'all some liars. I wonder if he the one that's hopped up on energy drinks. This is Memphis police officer David Rousey, who charged at me because he was so pissed off that I was getting video of his face because I wanted people to know exactly who he was. And then when he arrested me, looked at me and said, "You see my face now? You see me?" And David, I do see you. I see you for the abuser that you are. The Institute for Public Service Reporting at the University of Memphis did a great expose about David Rousey's history of abuse. According to the Institute of Public Service Reporting, this report is a summary of facts and allegations collected by internal investigators of the Memphis Police Department. Specifically, it states, afterwards, officers picked him up by the handcuffs and slammed him to the ground. During this time, an officer kept saying, "Take the handcuffs off so we can kill him." Mr. Jefferson balled up on the floor and Officer Rousey stated, "It's time to get some WCW, World Championship Wrestling, going on." Officer Rousey hit him with a chair and kicked him in the buttocks and groin 3 or 4 times. The officers denied Jefferson's allegations because there was no video.
She's doing an advocacy job within the context of law. But if the individual you're recording is willing to be lawless, it doesn't matter. She provides more details about this cop. Here it is.
The report by the internal investigators stated, Officers Rousey and Mackey initially gave deceitful information in regards to Jefferson being struck by officers. In their accounts, the officers contended Jefferson became combative as they removed his handcuffs while they were trying to shackle his leg to a detention bench. They maintained that version of events even when speaking to ISB investigators. But ultimately, when he was pressed on the details of what occurred, Officer Rousey finally admitted using force against Mr. Jefferson. The report specifically says, at that point, Officer Rousey kicked Mr. Jefferson in the back, causing him to stumble forward. He remained on his feet for a moment, but then suddenly flopped down on the floor, still handcuffed behind his back. Officer Rousey and Officer Mackey then began punching him as he lay handcuffed on the floor. So obviously, it's not a shocker that David Rousey does not like to be recorded because he doesn't want anyone catching his crimes on camera. Thankfully, I was recording and nothing went wrong, other than me being arrested because he felt so threatened.
Yeah. Let's get into it. Put him on full mask. According to Atlanta Black Star, on April 9th, Miss Amber Sherman was on her morning walk when she came across a concerning scene in the Orange Mound neighborhood of Memphis, Tennessee. Cops had swarmed a house on Mount Vernon Road, and multiple cops were parked in front. There was an open can of a popular energy drink sitting on the roof of one of the cars. Ms. Sherman, a local activist who has been appointed to the city's new police reform task force, felt something was off. So according to Ms. Sherman, the area had been a frequent target of ICE agents who tend to hit homes in early morning raids. She told Atlanta Black Star she immediately pulled out her phone and started to film from the sidewalk. Quote, "I wanted to make sure that if it was ICE, I got the police interaction on video," she said, adding, quote, "It's weird to be hopped up on energy drinks and doing a task force operation. That's concerning," end quote. Within seconds, a high-pitched argument broke out between her and one officer, which she caught on video and updated to Facebook. But the events that morning quickly devolved into chaos. Ms. Sherman says she was arrested, threatened with mace, and detained for 17 hours before she was released on her own recognizance, which means her signature, without receiving any formal paperwork of charges. All because she dared to film the police from a public right-of-way within seconds. That's when it happened. I'm going to get into the arrest in just a moment, but I want you to understand context as it is laid out, and also the part of the context that may not be pronounced. Obviously, she has the right to record. Obviously, she has the right to say what she wants to say, freedom of speech. Obviously, she was not impeding an investigation. She just pissed off a cop. So that's context that's in front of us. The context behind us is the fact that she's a member of the police reform task force appointed by the government. However, she received that appointment is between the protocols of that city and her. But she is in an appointed position to do exactly what she's doing, to make sure that she is advocating for police reform. All right, Ms. Sherman says she was then arrested. She was obviously threatened with 17 hours incarcerated. And, quote, he didn't read me my rights, she recalled, adding that the officer pinned her arm behind her back during the arrest and ordered her to drop her phone or they would break it. The officer also threatened to, quote, mace me in the face if she did not cooperate, Sherman added. But after Sherman was taken to the precinct, she noticed the arresting police officer removed his body camera. Quote, he set it on the back of his car trunk and walked away to talk to other officers. She believed he purposefully did that so his conversation would not be recorded. We talked about this on day one with Indisputable. If you have a camera rule, which every police precinct should have a camera rule, right? You must enforce it with a camera law. If your precinct has a policy that says police officers wear active cameras, that is to protect the cop and the citizen. But when there's no statutory law that backs up the policy reform, then there's no enforcement when the officers decide to not engage with using the body camera. And that's what you have. So, quote, it's important that people know they can film police no matter what, she told Atlanta Black Star. Quote, that even in a very small situation where I'm just filming someone, not approaching them, not attacking them, I'm literally just filming someone, they feel threatened by just being on camera, she stated. Quote, the main reason I started filming is because police do act different when they're on camera, Ms. Sherman added. Now at home with the court date looming, Ms. Sherman has received an outpouring of support from the community and is using her platform to demand that city leadership do better and reevaluate the policing tactics. Let's put them up. So on her social media, she called out the mayor, Mr. Paul Young, as well as the police chief. We've covered this chief before, CJ Davis, saying, quote, Paul Young, is this the type of leadership CJ Davis provides? Threatening citizens for being outside because they don't like what we're saying. Isn't that my First Amendment right? There you go. This is another microcosm to explain the macrocosm of police interaction and the corruption that seemingly exudes from cops on normative interactions. She's not even involved in the interaction, or she's not in target of their investigation. She is a citizen doing what is lawful to do. As a matter of fact, the police are supposed to be able to protect her right to do exactly what she was doing so that nobody else can impede upon her right to do so. She's within the law. How do you sign up to be a law enforcement officer and you don't like the law. That's like being a professor and you don't like students learning. It makes no sense. Get another job if you don't like the law. All right, Sharon, we've been here before last year, same chief, similar leadership. Policing dynamics don't seem to have changed much. The woman got arrested. She's a known advocate and appointed to actually reform police. What say you?
Yeah, and the question, I hope it was rhetorical, to Chief CJ Jump Out Boys originator Davis. Okay,
Yeah,
this is who she is. Just a Scorpion unit. Tyree Nichols knows that. Well, if he were around to tell it. So you're not going to, it's time to go RICO. RICO on these organizations. Isn't that one, you know better than I do, Doc. Isn't that one of the tenets under that law? Okay, and intent is the other. You know you're doing something wrong, okay? You weren't supposed to arrest this woman, where the charges, 17 hours, and then what about the body cam? RICO, this is scary, okay? This is all falls in line and are getting more brazen because of what's his face in DC who's deporting people.
Yeah,
what are you
are
going to do
absolutely
about
correct.
it?
Absolutely correct, because a lot of the precincts are operating with at least some level of default immunity in their mind because they believe that federal government will not be the watchdog they have been historically.